welcome back once again to movie reviews. So, had I recorded this review on the day that I saw the film, it would have been my birthday, but that didn't happen. So, since it was my birthday, I decided to treat myself to a movie I was actually looking forward to, mostly because of the nostalgia kick. The movie was based partly in the 80s and involved a lot of things from my childhood, and I was like, you know, what better way to celebrate my birthday than reliving some of my childhood, some of the things that went on back then. And one of my bigger loves in life, and that would have been video games and the whole arcade aspect. In case you haven't figured out what movie I'm talking about yet, I went and saw Pixels. So what did I think of Pixels? As much as I liked it, it was a bit of a letdown. This overall, it was a really poorly scripted out movie. The whole concept of the video games and everything, they really didn't do a whole lot with it. Like, basically everything that they do video game wise, you see in the trailer. Basically the biggest part of it is the Pac-Man thing, and even that's, or the Donkey Kong part, and that's just kind of, that's basically it. I was expecting a lot more going on with it. Kind of immerse yourself into this whole, like start out in the cities and then like immerse yourself into the video game almost is what I was expecting, and that's not what happened at all. So let's get into the plot summary, I guess, of the movie. So it starts out in 1982, which I would have been 2 years old at that point. Yeah, I'm an 80s kid. And this kid was probably like early teens, like 10, 11, 12, like pre-teenage, going into early teens. And the new arcade opened up in town, so they go over to the arcade, and, he's getting a high score on Pac-Man or something, and his friend's like, wow, you're really good at that. And he's talking about, like, oh, it's easy. There's a pattern. Don't you see it? And his friend's like, no, I don't, but you sure as hell do. So then his friend talks him into joining, like, the world, I don't know if it's world or just regional. They said the Guinness Book of World Record people were there, so it's probably world. Arcade championship, where you had to play all these different video games, and whoever scored the highest on each one would move on to the next round. And eventually it would crown a world champion. Guinness Book of World Records was there to award, like, highest record for certain video games and everything. And also it ties into, was it the Voyager program? Where NASA was going to use footage of that event along with other footage of modern times to send out into this probe into space in hopes that, if some alien race ever did find it, they would have an idea of our culture. But then it kind of forgets that anything else was on that video. It seems like they just sent just that video in the space probe by the way everything plays out. So we cut to modern time, I guess, like, 30-something years later. And all the kids are adults now, of course played by Adam Sandler and his crew, Kevin James, and not too many of his friends made appearances, but a couple of them did. But mostly in small parts. It's mostly Adam Sandler and Kevin James are the main ones. And there's what is that guy's name? I can't think of his name or what else he's been in. But, God, I can't think of it. It's like the Discount Jonah Hill looking guy. Yeah, so he's like a third friend of theirs that they met at the competition. There's also a fourth character who actually beats Adam Sandler's character in the competition. You later find out something about him, but it at first wasn't obvious in the movie. I didn't realize that's the way they were going to go with it, so I did actually like that twist. One thing I liked is, unlike usual in movies, at first when he meets up with Adam Sandler's younger character and they're going up against each other in the competition, at first he kind of turns to him and he's like, you play a good game, you're going to be hard to beat, good luck, and they shake hands, you know. And I was like, oh, you know, that's kind of different from basically the antagonist, I guess, because, you know, eventually he'll be the antagonist. It's like, you know, he's actually showing sportsmanship instead of being like, I'm going to beat you, loser, which is kind of how they built him up at first, but then they kind of turned him into like, oh, he's kind of mellow. And then it turns out when he wins the competition, he does turn into that, like, you know, it's like, congratulations. And, you know, at first Adam Sandler's character thinks he wasn't, and he's like, I'm coming in second, loser, you know, type of thing. And it's like, really? You couldn't just let him, like, you know, hey, you know, you played a good game, you know, or whatever, shake hands, and, you know, so, you know, I still won, but, you know, they could have just let him keep running that, but no, they had to turn into the stereotypical shit. So we cut to the future, like I said. Adam Sandler's character is basically a member of Geek Squad. But he's called like a nerd or something. So he shows up at people's houses to help them install their electronics and shit. And Kevin James, who played his friend, is actually the President of the United States. Apparently the next President of the United States, because they do mention Obama being his predecessor at some point in the movie, so I guess he'll be Donald Trump, if Donald Trump wins. I don't know. I'm not voting for anybody, so don't ask me. I don't do politics. So yeah, basically he's the predecessor of Obama. Or wait, is predecessor before or after? What would he be? He comes after Obama. He's the next guy in line. Obama would be his predecessor. That's right. So he's next in line. So Adam Sandler is installing this lady's stereo equipment or something, you know, and they kind of have this little flirty moment back and forth, and then they kind of like have a falling out at the end. So then Adam Sandler was kind of like, you know, I wouldn't have made out with you anyway, and kind of leaves, you know. So he gets a call from Kevin James asking him if he can come to the White House because he needs him to look at something. So he comes over to the White House, and it turns out the night before there was an attack on a military base in some foreign country. I want to say Iran, maybe, or India, somewhere overseas. It might have been India, because I think they said it was near Dubai. Which I could be completely wrong. I don't know where Dubai is. So he comes to the White House, and he sees the video of this attack, and he kind of realizes what it is. And the president's like, you know, I just wanted to make sure that's actually what I thought it was before I made myself look like an ass going in front of, you know, the cabinet and saying that this is what it is. So he goes in and says, you know, we were attacked by space invaders. You know, like, literally space invaders. So at first everyone's like, you know, well, we'll just fight them off and blah, blah, blah. And Adam Sandler's character kind of chimes in and says, you know, it's a challenge. You know, it's got to be kind of played out the way they want it played out. And they actually get communication from the aliens at one point saying that they received the probe and they took it as a declaration of war, and that they were basically told, basically what they took away from it is that they would battle through these 8-bit games, basically. So these aliens spent the next couple decades building these pixel monsters to basically full-size life scale, and now they're playing 3 rounds, I think it was like best of 3, so it could be up to 5 rounds if you go 2 and 2. So they're playing these games. You know, they end up losing the first one because there was no defense against the space invader attack. At first, the cabinet's not willing to take on that this is actually what's going on. So the second attack happens, and same thing. So then they're finally like, okay, you know, we believe you now, Mr. President. You know, how should we do this? So they find out where the third one's going to be, and you know, basically, Adam Sandler and his other friend from the arcade are kind of like trying to train the military how to beat, you know, identify the patterns and fight based on the pattern. And, you know, the military is just, they don't see the pattern, so it's kind of hard for them to fight. They just kind of shoot randomly. And then finally, like, as they're about to lose, Adam Sandler just grabs one of these light guns that they have that disrupts the pixels. And, you know, just kind of goes on the field and starts shooting and ends up kicking ass. And, you know, they kind of like, yeah, we won the battle, blah, 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 blah. So then that was the Centipede battle, so that was the third out of 5. Then they have the Pac-Man battle, which is when they call in the guy who beat him in the tournament. You know, they're like, you know, we could use an extra hand, so let's call in this guy. So they call him in, they go to battle Pac-Man, and they end up beating Pac-Man, which is the part you see in the trailer. Then they're kind of celebrating. They're like, yeah, it's tied up. It's 2-2. We got one more to go. And then, it's a big spoiler here, so you might not want to listen to this part. The aliens contact them and say, you cheated, you forfeit, we win. So, you know, we're going to destroy you and your planet, blah, blah, blah. Actually, I think they just said the winner got to keep the other's planet, if I remember right. So, they're trying to figure out what cheating was involved, and that's when you kind of find out the secret of the guy who beat Adam Sandler in the tournament, which isn't really revealed to Adam Sandler right away, which kind of leads into the final battle. So basically, the pixel monsters start invading the Earth, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's not in a game format because they've declared victory. So everyone's just kind of going around fighting off these pixel monsters as they invade, and Adam Sandler kind of makes his way to the command ship, and, you know, they're like, oh, you're here, you know, good, because our Supreme Leader wants to take care of you himself. So they get beamed up to the ship, and turns out the Supreme Leader takes on the form of Donkey Kong, which is the game that Adam Sandler lost in the tournament, the finals of the original tournament. So he's like, oh, great, you know, the one game I'm not that good at. And then that's when he kind of finds out that the other guy cheated in the tournament, and you know, and that Adam Sandler actually would have won. And he's like, "Oh, wait, you're telling me I'm the world champion at Donkey Kong?" And it kind of gets confidence and goes through and kicks ass on the game, beats Donkey Kong, and then that's kind of the end of it. All the pixel monsters kind of fade away, which I don't understand why they all just disintegrated the way they did, because when Earth lost, the Earthlings weren't just destroyed. You know, they were being pixelated, but they didn't just like randomly go around killing everybody or just like destroy the entire planet. They actually gave a fighting chance. So why these guys all just crumbled into dust made no real sense to me, but that's the way it played out. Also, there was no real resolution as far as like getting to keep the other planet, because we have no idea where the planet is or how to even get to it, nor a ship to take us there, because the ship disintegrated too. So then they all meet back up at the White House, and they all get award, you know, kind of like the ending of Star Wars, where everyone just kind of gets medals and crap. And that's kind of the end of the movie. There are subplots that go on that tie things together a lot better, but I'll let those play out for themselves, because some of those were actually kind of funny, especially the ones involving Adam Sandler and the lady whose stereo system he was installing. I kind of wish they had gone a different route than that, other than the obvious route, but, you know, it was funny up until a point, but I kind of wish that it had gone a completely different route at the end. But I'll leave that one as kind of a cliffhanger. So, overall, like I said, it just kind of fell flat on what I was expecting out of it, but then again, it is an Adam Sandler movie, which sometimes I like Adam Sandler movies. They're not all horrible, but, like, I don't know, it's like they didn't really pad this one out with as much action as they could have. Would like to have seen a lot more of the video game character interaction type of thing. So that's basically it for the summary of the movie. As far as a star rating, I said it wasn't a horrible movie. sort of enjoyed it. You know, as far as like, was it what I was expecting for my birthday? No. You know, it didn't give me that. It didn't really fully give me the nostalgia kick that I was expecting, but like I said, to a degree, I enjoyed it. So I don't really just want to keep rating everything as a middle of the road, but you know, that's more or less what it is. I don't really feel it would be fair to put it down to like a 2.5. Well, yeah, let's go 2.5. I almost wish I could do like 2 3/4 because it's only slightly below the middle of the road. It almost doesn't deserve to be rated this low, but like I said, had they done a lot more with the pixels and a little bit less with the yuck backstory type of stuff, it probably could have panned out a lot better and been a lot better movie than what it was. So just based on that, it's going to get a 2.5 from me. But more or less, it's a middle of the road movie. It's deserving of a 3, but I'm not going to give it a 3 just because it could have been better. So it's a 2.5 for me, and that's pretty much all I got to say about it. And that catches me up on my movie reviews for what I saw prior to me coming down with a cold. Like I said before, Fantastic Four did open this week, and I do want to see that, probably after I get over this cold, so there'll probably be a review for that. As I said, not much else is open that I really want to see. I was thinking about seeing Vacation, the reboot of the National Lampoon's Vacation movie, or the far-off sequel, because I guess it's Chevy Chase's kid is taking his family on the trip now. So it's a sequel, but a reboot at the same time. It looks like it could be funny, but at the same time, based on the preview, it looks like they're reaching for a lot of laughs, and it almost makes me not want to see it based on that, but I might still check it out at some point, I don't know. So there might be one from that. As far as what else is opening, I'm not sure. I haven't looked in about a week, so there might be a couple other things out that I want to go see, but until then, this catches me up for now. So as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.